Aisha sat scared in her wheelchair as Karen let her dogs loose. They ran at her, barking loud, teeth showing. She couldn't move, couldn't run. The dogs got close, growling. Karen laughed, happy to see Aisha cry, her small body shaking with fear. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe channel for more emotional videos. Aisha sat in her wheelchair, the afternoon sun warm on her face. She was only 14 but life had already been tough. A car accident years ago took her ability to walk, leaving her quiet, soft-spoken. Still, she was strong in her own way. Her favorite place was the small garden outside their modest home. She couldn't dig or plant like others, but she'd learned to care for it, watering flowers with a little jug, whispering to them like friends. Today she held a handful of crumbs for a stray cat she'd named Mithu. Its soft purr made her smile, a rare moment of peace in their strict suburban neighborhood. The houses around were neat, too neat, ruled by the HOA, people who loved control more than kindness. Aisha didn't care about their rules. She just wanted her garden and her cat. She tossed a crumb, giggling as Mithu leaped for it. That's when a shadow fell over her. She looked up, heart sinking. It was Karen, the HOA lady everyone feared. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, always sniffing for trouble. Her two big dogs yanked at their leashes, growling low. Karen's lips curled into a mean smirk. Feeding strays again? Karen snapped. You know that's against the rules, don't you, little cripple? Her words stung, sharp as thorns. Aisha gripped her wheelchair, her voice barely a whisper. It's just a cat. But Karen didn't care. She hated anything she couldn't boss around, especially Aisha, who couldn't fight back, or so she thought. Inside their simple home, Daddy wasn't there yet. Aisha's dad was a wildlife officer, tall and stern but gentle with her. He spent his days saving animals, catching poachers, earning respect far beyond this petty neighborhood. He taught Aisha to love creatures, wild or small, and promised to always protect her. She missed him now, his deep voice, his steady hands. He didn't know Karen was here, her dogs barking louder, their teeth flashing too close. Aisha's heart raced. The garden, her safe place, felt small and trapped. Mithu hissed and darted away. Karen laughed, a cold, ugly sound pulling out her phone. Let's make this fun, she said, aiming the camera at Aisha's scared face. Trouble was coming and Aisha couldn't roll away fast enough. Karen's eyes locked onto Mithu, the little stray cat nibbling crumbs by Aisha's wheelchair. Her face twisted with disgust. What's this? She barked, stomping across the garden. Another filthy animal breaking my rules? Her voice was loud, slicing through the quiet afternoon. Aisha shrank back, her hands trembling. It's just Mithu, she mumbled, but Karen wasn't listening. She stepped closer, towering over the wheelchair. You can't even chase it away, can you? She sneered, her words dripping with venom. Aisha's chest tightened. She hated how Karen saw her, weak, useless. Then it got worse. Karen's hands moved fast, unclipping the leashes of her two dogs. The beasts lunged free, big, loud, with sharp teeth glinting. They charged at Aisha, colts barking so hard the ground seemed to shake. Their hot breath hit her face as they snapped close to her legs, too close. Aisha froze, her fingers digging into the armrests of her wheelchair. She couldn't roll away, couldn't run. Her heart pounded like a drum, trapped in a body that wouldn't move. The dog's claws scraped the dirt, their growls filling her ears. Karen didn't stop them. She laughed instead, pulling her phone from her pocket. Oh, this is perfect, she said, aiming the camera at Aisha. The screen glowed as she hit record. Smile for the neighborhood group chat, sweetie, she taunted, her voice cruel and high-pitched. Aisha's eyes stung with tears. She didn't want to cry, not in front of Karen, but the fear was too much. The dogs circled tighter, their paws smashing into her flower pots. One pot cracked, spilling dirt, her daisies, the ones she'd watered every day, crushed. Those flowers were her pride, her little victory. Now they were gone. Please stop, Aisha whispered, her voice breaking. The words were so soft they barely left her lips, but Karen heard. She cackled louder, a wicked sound that echoed off the houses. The dogs barked harder, feeding off her glee. Mithu, the tiny cat, bolted, its tail a blur as it vanished behind a bush. Aisha's heart sank deeper. Her one friend had left her, scared off by the chaos. Tears rolled down her cheeks, hot and silent. She felt small, helpless, like the world was closing in. Karen kept filming, her grin wide, enjoying every second of Aisha's pain. The garden, once her safe corner, was now a cage, and Karen held the key. Aisha's hands shook, but she wouldn't give up. The dogs were still there, barking and snapping, their noise rattling her bones. Fear clawed at her, but deep inside, something else flickered, a tiny spark of fight. She fumbled in the side pouch of her wheelchair, fingers brushing a small stick she kept for poking at weeds. It wasn't much, but it was something. She gripped it tight, her knuckles white, and tapped it hard on the ground. The sharp sound cut through the chaos. One dog flinched, ears twitching, and took a step back, confused. Aisha's heart lifted just a little. But the other dog growled louder, its eyes wild, spurred on by Karen's shrill voice yelling, "Get her!" Inside her mind, Aisha clung to a memory. Her daddy's words echoed, steady and clear. "Animals feel your fear, Beta," he'd said once, kneeling beside her after rescuing a scared bird. "Stay calm and they'll listen." She could almost see his face now, his gentle eyes, his hands showing her how to breathe slow. She sucked in a shaky breath, forcing the panic down. Her chest hurt, her tears still wet on her cheeks, but she wouldn't let Karen win. Not completely. She tapped the stick again, softer this time, her lips trembling as she whispered, "Go away." She wasn't loud, wasn't strong, but she was trying. Across the street, a curtain moved. Mrs. Khan, the old lady who baked sweets, peeked out her window. Her wrinkled face creased with worry as she saw Aisha cornered. She opened her door a crack, but Karen spun around, venom in her voice. "Mind your own business, old hag," she shouted, waving her phone like a weapon. Mrs. Khan hesitated, then stepped back, the door clicking shut. Aisha saw it and her stomach sank, but only for a moment. She straightened her shoulders just a bit. Someone cared. Someone saw. And that was enough to keep her going. The dog still loomed, Karen still smirked, but Aisha's tears slowed. Her quiet courage glowed, faint but real, like a candle in the dark. She wouldn't scream, wouldn't beg. She'd fight her way, small as it was, and wait for Daddy to come home. The gravel crunched under Daddy's truck as he pulled into the driveway. It had been a long day chasing poachers through the woods, his boots muddy, his face tired. He stepped out, wildlife officer uniform crisp despite the dirt, his badge catching the last light of the day. Then he stopped dead. His eyes landed on Aisha, his little girl, hunched in her wheelchair, trembling. The dogs circled her, their barks sharp and mean. And there was Karen, phone in hand, grinning like she'd won a prize as she filmed it all. Daddy's heart twisted, a quiet storm building inside him. Karen didn't even look up at first. She didn't know who he was, didn't care. When she finally noticed him, she tossed her head back with a smirk. "About time you showed up," she said, voice dripping with scorn. "Control your kid and her mess or I'll report you too." She thought he was just another dad she could push around, someone soft, someone weak. Her dogs barked louder as if agreeing with her. She waved her phone, still recording, sure she was untouchable. Daddy didn't shout. He didn't need to. He stood tall, his face hard but calm, and let out a single sharp whistle. It sliced through the air, a sound he'd used 100 times to tame wild foxes and cornered deer. The dogs froze mid-bark, their ears flattening. In seconds they whimpered, tails dropping, and scurried back to Karen's side. They crouched low, eyes darting like they'd met something bigger than them. Karen's smug grin slipped, her mouth opening in shock. The phone wobbled in her hand, but she didn't stop filming, not yet. Daddy took a slow step forward, his boots steady on the ground. His eyes locked on Karen, cold and piercing, but his voice stayed soft. "You're done here," he said. It wasn't loud, but it carried weight like a promise. Aisha looked up, her tear-streaked face softening at the sight of him. Daddy was home and the air shifted. Karen's dogs whined, her power crumbling. She didn't know it yet, but she'd picked the wrong fight, and Daddy was just getting started. Daddy stepped closer, his shadow falling over Karen. He held up his badge, glinting in the fading light. "Wildlife Officer Malik," he said, voice steady and firm. "Those dogs aren't registered for aggression training, are they?" Karen's eyes widened, her smugness cracking. She stumbled over her words, I didn't," but nothing came out right. She clutched her phone tighter, realizing too late she'd tangled with the wrong man. Daddy's face didn't change, but his quiet stare made her shrink. He turned away from her, dropping to one knee beside Aisha. Her cheeks were wet, her hands still shaky. Daddy brushed her tears away with his rough fingers, gentle as a breeze. "No one hurts my girl," he whispered, his promise wrapping around her like a shield. Aisha nodded, a small sob escaping. Then Daddy stood, facing Karen again. His voice dropped low, sharp like a blade. "You think it's fun to torment her? Let's see how fun it is when I inspect your yard for violations." Karen's face paled, her bravado gone. Daddy pulled out his radio, speaking quick words Aisha didn't catch. Within hours, tires rolled up, wildlife officers, his team, men and women in uniforms like his. They spread out, eyes sharp, heading straight for Karen's backyard. One called out, "Unreported bird trap, illegal." Another nodded, "Dogs untrained, dangerous." It was a felony, a big one. Karen's mouth fell open, panic twisting her features. Her phone, still recording, caught it all, her stammering, her fear, her downfall. She'd made her own evidence. Aisha sat still, watching. The noise faded as Mithu, the stray cat, crept back from the bushes. It padded over, soft and silent, and curled up by her wheelchair. Her fingers found its fur, stroking gently. A faint smile broke through her sadness, small but real. The garden felt like hers again, the broken pots just a memory now. Across the yard, Karen argued with the officers, her voice high and desperate, but no one listened. Her reign was over, crumbling like dry dirt. Aisha leaned down, whispering to Mithu, "We're okay now." Daddy glanced back, his eyes softening. Justice had come, swift and sure, and Aisha's peace was hers to keep. The days after were quieter, softer. Karen's world fell apart fast. The wildlife officer's report hit hard. She faced heavy fines and months of community service, picking up trash instead of bossing people around. The HOA stripped her of power, her name whispered now with pity, not fear. The neighborhood, once silent under her glare, came alive for Aisha. Mrs. Khan was first, knocking gently with a pot of marigolds. "For your garden, Beta," she said, smiling. Others followed, kids with daisies, old men with rose cuttings. Soon Aisha's garden bloomed again, brighter than before. Each flower felt like a hug, a promise that she wasn't alone. She wheeled among them, her fingers brushing petals, her heart lighter than it had been in weeks. That evening, as the sky turned pink and gold, Aisha sat with Daddy on their porch. The air was cool, the world still. She leaned against him, her wheelchair tucked close to his chair. His hand rested on her shoulder, warm and steady. They didn't need many words, just the quiet of being together. Aisha watched the sunset, its colors painting her thoughts. She thought of the dogs, the broken pots, the way she'd held on. Her voice came soft, almost lost in the breeze. "You're my hero, Daddy," she whispered. He looked down, his eyes shining, and shook his head gently. "No, Beta, you're mine, you stayed strong." His words wrapped around her, mending the last cracks in her heart. She smiled, small but true, feeling taller than ever. Mithu, the stray cat, leaped into her lap, curling up with a rumbling purr. Aisha stroked its soft fur, her fingers slow and careful. The cat's warmth seeped into her, chasing away the last shadows of that awful day. A gentle breeze stirred the air, rustling the new flowers, carrying away the faint memory of barking dogs. The garden glowed in the fading light, alive with color and hope. Daddy squeezed her shoulder and Aisha leaned closer, safe in his strength. The world felt right again, not perfect but whole. As the stars began to peek out, Aisha closed her eyes, letting the moment hold her. She was home, she was loved, and nothing could take that away.